It is indeed an honor to have been invited to address the United Nations Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent during your 18th session. I congratulate you for your important accomplishments, especially in relation to the International Decade for People of African Descent and for its interlocking themes of recognition, justice, and development. All three themes invite us to deeply rethink our collective relationship to history. History cannot be confined to the past tense. Therefore, any full recognition of the catastrophic violence of the slave trade and slavery also involves a broad consciousness of the persistence of racially inflected violence in policing practices, in prisons, in education, in healthcare, housing, and other contemporary institutions in the global north. In the South, we witness the continued failure to solve basic problems related to water and food and health. However, the economic and social conditions that define the lives of people of African descent often cut across the North-South divide. Consider the poisoning of the water supply in Flint, Michigan, a black city in the Midwestern United States. Or consider the exportation of what is referred to as the new penitentiary culture from the US to Colombia. Thus, as we issue the call for official apologies and for the memorializing of those who lost their lives to historical catastrophes, we are also aware that the quotidian violences of racism continue to claim lives and spirits and futures. Equality and justice, therefore, require major shifts in our thinking about existing social, economic, and political institutions. Communities of African descent and their supporters in the United States express our gratitude to Mireille Fanon Mendes France and other members of the UN Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent for their recent visit to our country and for their advocacy of reparations for slavery through the implementation of economic, educational, and environmental rights. We especially appreciate the observation that, and I quote, contemporary police killings and the trauma they create are reminiscent of the racial terror lynchings in the past, and that impunity for state violence has resulted in the current human rights crisis and must be addressed as a matter of urgency. The great scholar-activist W.E.B. Du Bois reflected retrospectively in his important volume, Black Reconstruction in America, on the possibilities of democracy as the U.S. was on the verge of abolishing slavery. He argued that slavery could not be fully abolished without forging democratic institutions in such a way as to facilitate the egalitarian participation of former slaves. This would mean a shift from abstract to substantive rights. The right to education and healthcare would thus have to be grounded in free schooling and free healthcare. The right to housing and affordable housing. The right to employment and the availability of jobs. What constituted the core of an abolition democracy a century and a half ago has not yet been realized. Thus, the unfulfilled goals of the past remain the promise of a livable future. Thank you.